And the 5 elements are this that I just placed here, and we start with fire. From fire we go into earth. Our earth melt to become metal. From the metal element we create water. And we know that the water element feeds plants, so we get into wood energy. So there's a cycle to all of this. That's why we're creating that in our home. So talking about the chi has to flow, but we all have these 5 elements, and we want to make sure that the balance is when everything is in that nice balanced space, that again, that magic happens. So fire, in the constructive cycle of things, fire feeds the earth, and the way, again, this is symbolic here, right? Please don't take it literally. It is symbolic, but it is also the truth of things not always seen by the eyes, but that is known through life, mystically, symbolically. But we know, for example, that when we burn wood, we have a fire. The fire will give us ashes. And ashes over thousands of years will coalesce and create the earth that we walk on. So the earth energy, then we know that all our gemstones come from the earth. So they have been there for years, for millennia. We know that beautiful diamonds come from the earth. All of the gemstones come from deep within the earth. So the earth coalesces to give us metal. So we can think of metal in that way, symbolically. And then metal energy kind of moves somehow to become water. Again, in the sense that, for example, we need, most often than not, we need to kind of melt our metals before we can really work with that. But again, it's not literally. But the energy of metal feeds water. And as I was saying a bit earlier, we need water to feed our plants so that the plants can grow. So we know that the energy of wood is the energy of growth, shooting upward. So we have this element here. And last is the wood energy feeding fire. So that's the cycle of the 5 elements when we talk about the constructive. First we talk about the constructive cycle. But as I'm working and I'm balancing energy in somebody's space, sometimes I may need to go through the destructive cycle or the reducive cycle. So if we go in the opposite direction, for example, instead of moving in this direction, I can walk in this direction, right? And that will be known as a reducive cycle. And you will say, well, why would that be necessary? Let's say I go into somebody's home and they have painted all the walls red. People love that. People love to put red everywhere. But the thing with red is a very powerful color. As you noticed, right, like on the page before, red is here only once, right? So usually we just need a little bit of red in things. So we want to use red very, very little at a time. And oops, I'm not going to edit that. I'm just going to make that oops and make the correction I need to make here right now. I just noticed that I kind of shifted these 2 elements. In my metal energy, the shape is not a column. Oops. The shape is a dome. Right? The shape is rather a dome. And that column is rather in my wood energy. See, I talk about shooting upward, columnar. That's rather here in my wood energy, like a tree. I'm glad I caught that, aren't you? All right, so let's go back to my 5 element cycle here. I was talking about the walls that are red, you know, somebody paints the room red, and red is perfectly fine. If you love red and you want red around you, that's fine. Just know that every time you put in red, you put in fire around you. Now, maybe your being, your body wants a lot of fire, I don't know. But most often than not, red needs to breathe. So if I have a very small space and people have put like all 4 walls into red, then maybe they're suffocating. Sometimes people feel like they're being burned out, and I don't know why. Well, sometimes I will go to their place, and before we know, there's way too much fire. So one way to control fire could be to say, oh, let me put water on it, and then I will just kill the fire. So maybe I don't want to kill the fire. Maybe I just want to dim it a little bit. In that case, I'm going to kind of work with this direction of the element. So I'm going to use that reducive cycle to reduce that fire. But sometimes, maybe I really want to destroy that fire because it could be, you know, maybe not healthy for them at all to be having so much fire. If the person, for example, right, is a fiery person by nature, and they just want to keep living in fire, they're just really killing themselves. So we have to pull that fire out. So we know that the best way to kill fire quickly is, oops, I'm going to put water on it. So if I bring a water element in that environment, right, that will take care of that. So that's called a destructive element. But the other way of seeing it is that sometimes people also create this kind of opposite in the space, and the energy is what we call sick. Right? It's not healthy, so they don't know what's going on, but maybe because they have some energy kind of butting heads in the space. So we know that fire is water is going to cool the fire, and fire energy, we know fire kind of melts metal. So fire destroys the energy of metal. And again, a lot of stuff symbolically, some of them work straightforward. Metal, we need, you know, that we need to use a hash to kind of cut the wood here. So metal, we go metal here as wood. And sometimes we are walking in the street and we have seen that. You will see the roots of a huge tree breaking the earth around. So we say that wood heals earth. And the last one is that earth muddies water, right? If I give you a glass of water and I just drop a little bit of sand in there, you don't really want to drink it anymore. So earth heals water. And this is now our destructive cycle. So when I come into a space, I'm paying attention to many, many, many things at once. And now with all that I'm looking at, I am also now choosing the platform of beauty to bring us to that next level where we want to go. So I think that's enough information that I have given you to start preparing you for your next session. So basic principles, please take a moment to review all these things and familiarize yourself with that.